Calibrating cybernetics.
Talk to him now.
AT, Andre.
Come on, Dre.
Yep. Trippin with Let's Go. Woo! Trippin with Theobold.
What's your name?
Theo so bold.
Yeah.
Driggity. Let's go. Trippin with Theobold. Trippin.
What are we doing?
Trippin with Theobold.
Come on, Dre.
Let's see, mic check 1 2. We on? Are we on? Let me just double check to make sure we are good. You can see where we are at. Yeah, we good. We are good. Hey, what's going on, y'all? And welcome to the 85th episode of Trippin with Theobold. I'm your host, Andre Theobold, and welcome. We're here. Before we go any further, make sure you guys hit that like button, hit that subscribe button, and tell a friend to tell a friend, and do all that fun internet stuff like the old people say. All my socials are below, as y'all can see. AT is where it's at on most forms of social media, so follow me. But nah, man, as y'all can see, I am under the sea. Yeah, King Triton let me use this spot of the ocean, so you know I'm up here navigating around with no scuba gear. So I guess that makes me a merman. I'm getting all the bullshit bad. I'm cussing, can't cuss yet. I'm getting all the bad jokes out the way. Yeah, I got 2 more minutes before I can start really cussing. I think I'm good now. I'm at the 2-minute and 11 mark, so you know I can talk kind of freely. I can talk free-ish. But now, man, here we are, 85th episode. So as you guys know, I'm a Bills fan, and I like to tie all of my episodes to a Buffalo Bill of past and present. So today's episode is tied to none other than my brother, Mr. I'm getting ahead of myself. I'm getting cute. Today's episode is tied to number 85, Russell Copeland of the Buffalo Bills. If I can remember how to open up and get my data showing. Oh, is what we doing today? Okay, let me just see something right quick. Gotta do this. Man, right when you think you got it figured out, you don't got shit figured out. Let me just do this. It's the fastest way to do it, I guess. You know, you learn all the little shortcuts. Here we go. Go. Okay. Here we go. Boom. Okay. Yeah, it's tied to number 85, Mr. Russell Copeland of the Buffalo Bills. Gotta shrink him down a little bit. But he's a former gridiron legend. He played in Super Bowl 28, I believe, against the Cowboys. Super Bowl 28. We lost that Super Bowl like every other Super Bowl. Number 85 went to Memphis. And I did not know this. I did not know this fact. I'm not going to pretend that I knew. But Russell Copeland was roommates with the great Isaac Bruce, who played for the Rams. Right? If you know anything about the Rams were the greatest show on turf. So it's Isaac Bruce, Kurt Warner, and what's the other brother name? Oh man, I'm blanking right now. From NC State. Torrey Holt. Yeah, so I did not know that. But anyways, we talking about Buffalo Bills. So number 85. This episode is tied to number 85, Mr. Russell Copeland of the Buffalo Bills. And what else do we got going on here for today? Let's get the tongue twisties out the way. As you guys know, grew up with a speech impediment. It's not all the way gone, so catch me if you can. So we do tongue twisties to get the brain and the tongue coordinated. Pause, as Dame Dash always does, pauses after everything, you know. So yeah, let's go ahead and get into it. Tongue twisties, here we go. So read along with me or watch me struggle. It's your choice. So here we go. Blake the baker bakes black bread. Blake the baker bakes black bread. I don't like my levels right now. I'm in the red a lot, but oh well. Blake the baker bakes black bread. The bottom of the butter bucket is the buttered bucket bottom. The bottom of the butter bucket is the buttered bucket bottom. The bottom of the butter bucket is the buttered bucket bottom. Billy's big black and blue blister bled. Almost got tripped up there. That's why it's called Trippin with Theobold. Billy's big black and blue blister bled. Blair's blue boots are beauties. Blair's blue boots are beauties. Blair's blue boots are beauties. And the last one, Bob bought a bleached blue beaded blazer. Bob bought a bleached blue beaded blazer. Bob bought a bleached blue bleeded blazer. And we are done. Tongue twisties out the way. Yay. So I haven't done any promotion in a minute. So I got to do one right now because I woke up this morning, pulled up my social media, and I saw this and I was like, you know what? I got to plug this, man. Because this hits home in so many ways and it ties in with the whole theme of my podcast. So here we go. So shout out to Manny Jennings. Manny Jennings. So I went to school with his pops. Went to high school with his pops. Claude Jennings, the second. I didn't know Claude Jennings was a second. I don't know why. I'm just realizing that now. But anyways, let me shrink this so y'all can see me a little bit. Manny Jennings, I can just tell he's a very outgoing, talented young brother. He wrote this book. He been writing books, man. This dude was 10 years old and he's out here publishing books. And he has a book out called It's Okay to Be Me. And like him, you know, I grew up with a speech impediment, you know. He stutters, you know. He's 10 years old. But man, this dude got books. He's publishing books at 10. Man, that's what's up, man. So I had to go on Amazon. I had to go in and get my copy. You know, I got my copy on the way. But I was on Facebook this morning, opened my phone, I saw the link. And then when I looked at the link, I saw the word stutter and I'm like, oh, wow. And then I was like, oh man, I just gravitated towards it, you know, and watched the video. Like he made the news, everything, man. So he was on the news, featured on it. Man, I would have, man, shout out to the Jennings family, man. That's dope, man. You know, to accept self and to proudly accept self, you know. See, at 10 years old, like I was in his shoes, but I would not have written a book like this in a million years, man. I would not have written a book like that. I mean, that's a lot of courage, man. Like I was trying to stay away from books. You know what I'm saying? I was trying to, like, you know, when I was in class, I was trying to cut up on the down low. That sounded weird. I was trying to cut up on the low, you know, so I could get my laughs in for the day. But, you know, I was trying to do so in a way where I didn't get noticed, because if I got noticed, I had to read out loud. And, you know, I had trouble reading out loud. You know, my vocal process wasn't all the way there. So, and a lot of people think that just because you can't read out loud that you can't read. Like you got a lot of motherfuckers out there that can read out loud perfectly, but don't know what the fuck they read, and they can't critically read. I'm not gonna say can't, they just don't, you know? So in our society, we have a misconception of everything is about presentation, right? We over presentationize stuff, if that makes sense. You know, we over presentationize stuff, meaning that we want everything to look good, but the content could be some bullshit. Like, you know what I'm saying? So, but no, man, enough of me, man. Shout out to Manny Jennings for stepping up to the plate, man, and writing this book. I can't wait to get it. As soon as I get the book, I will have it and I will hold it up. And yeah, I'm gonna make sure I keep plugging it, you know, because I like when I see people like me do things to grow and to move forward in life. So I got some comments. Let me see who's checking in on little old me. Hey, Tim. At 10, Black Kid. Oh, shit, what's up, Tim? Okay, thanks for tuning in, Tim. Appreciate you for tuning in. What's going on, man? At 10. Oh, my bad. You're asking about the time, I guess. No, we live right now. We live. Hey, what's up, babe? Ed. But now, man, shout out to, like I said, man, Manny Jennings, man. Can't wait to get the book. I hope he writes more books. I just can't wait to get more of his work, man. So this is what it's about, man. It's about, you know, it's about building and putting yourself on and putting other people on. You know what I mean? So you guys get a chance, go get the book. It's on Amazon. It's called It's Okay to Be Me by Manny Jennings. So make sure y'all go check it out. So let me see what else we got going on here. So let me go ahead and get into the crux of the show. All right, let me go ahead and get into the crux of the show. And today we are I'm going to give my review on The Little Mermaid. All right, I'm gonna give my review on it. Yeah, so off rip, man, like, you know, I have a unique review or a unique take on Little Mermaid. First of all, I like the movie, right? Because, you know, I gotta make sure I clarify that up front. Because when Little Mermaid came out, man, black people are like, man, you better not say nothing bad about Little Mermaid. Don't you dare say nothing bad about Little Mermaid. That's us. You know? Now I'm not gonna say nothing bad. I'm gonna keep it a buck. I'm gonna keep it 100. You know what I'm saying? But now, man, I liked it. You know, I liked it better than the original. I'm not gonna front, man. I'm not gonna lie. My eyes got a little sweaty in there, right? My eyes got a little sweaty in Little Mermaid. I even did a little come on, Dre. I even did a little Denzel Glory tear. Remember Glory when Denzel was getting beat and he was looking at the camera and his eyes got swelled up and he dropped that one tear? Yeah, nigga, I did that during Little Mermaid. What you gonna do? You gonna fight me over it? Here's the thing. So it's like, here's the reason why I got a little misty eyed during Little Mermaid. You know, I got a little misty eyed because, like, it's a nostalgic piece, man. It's a throwback, right? I didn't realize that Little Mermaid came out in '89. I'm old, man. Shit. Little Mermaid came out in '89, and I didn't realize it came out 2 years before Beauty and the Beast. You know, I always thought Beauty and the Beast came out before, but nah. So the reason why, like, I got like a little sweaty eye during Little Mermaid was because in high school I was in a pops band. You know, I didn't say my pops band. I said I was in a pops band, right? It's like a popular band. Pop stand for like popular bands that play like popular music, right? So we weren't a marching band. We were more of a like we played like pops. It was like a little mini orchestra. We put on little shows or whatever, you know. And I played clarinet, first chair. Then I moved on to bass clarinet, first chair. But I'm not here to brag. But now in Pop's band, we played like all these Disney songs, right? We played all these Disney hits. You know, we played songs from Hercules, from Aladdin, Little Mermaid, Beauty and the Beast, you know, and it was all like, it was one big ensemble. You know, we went from one song to the next. And then, but yeah, shout out to Nat Dickey. Nat Dickey was my band director at Tacoma Academy. You know what I'm saying Nat Dickey was the best, man. I went to a Christian academy and we played these. The school wanted us to play non-secular music, and Nat Dickey was like, nah, I want to play. He wanted us to have fun and play what we wanted to play, So instead of us playing all these Christian songs, all these Christian hymns, Nat Dickey was in there like, man, he was in there playing theme from Shaft. We played all that, man. And we used to get in front of chapel and just rock out. And you could see all the faculty members, man, they would be kind of beating their feet, bobbing their head, but they were like, man, we shouldn't be listening to this. But Nat Dickey was dope, man. He was like, he wanted us to play what we wanted to play. Like he wanted us to be excited about what we were playing. And those were some fun years, man, being in band. We went on like these little tours. Like we went on this one big tour. We went to like Philly, New York, Boston. It was like a week. It was like a couple-day trip, and we went on this big trip. And man, we went on bus rides. We were like, we like slept in dorms or whatever, like the whole band or whatever. And it was a great experience. And I remember like when Little Mermaid came on and she started singing that one song, when the chords hit, when you like, if you know anything about music, if you played something and then you hear it like 20 years later or 25 plus years later, it's like, oh, that hit different, So, so I could like hear myself. So I wasn't getting sweaty eyed over Little Mermaid. I was getting sweaty eyed over the nostalgic aspect of it. I was getting like, sweaty eyed because, I remember playing that song in band, and now I'm like in the theater, like hearing it so many years later, and then Nat Dickey, basically, I think he either quit or they asked him to leave because he wouldn't play all the churchy music that they wanted him to play. And then after that was Dave Workman. Dave Workman was cool. Nat Dickey was like part of this brass quintet. He played trombone. Dave Workman played trumpet, and they were like best friends or whatever. So when Nat Dickey left, Dave Workman took over, but he was like a more aggressive version of Nat Dickey. He was like, "Hey guys, they want us to play all this church." I'm like, I'm not playing that. And he took it and threw it on the ground. He's like, "Nah, hey, what do you guys want to play?" And he would go out and we would find the music and we play in chapel and rock out. And then he got fired, And then after that was Mr. Choi. And Mr. Choi was nice, but he was an ass kisser. He wanted to play all the church stuff. And them church songs were boring, man. Them joints was dry as saltine crackers, man. Them joints was dry. So yeah. I ended up quitting band. And also when we like joined forces with the choir team, right? Because we would play and then the choir would sing along with us. There's one chick in our choir named Winby. Man, Winby had like the voice, like she was the best singer in our school by far, and she sang all the Disney hits or whatever. So when like I heard certain songs and I hear them, it's like it takes me back to a place where I was in band, I was playing, I was happy, and I can hear, people, I can hear Winby's voice. It's like, man, it's just a whole, you guys get the point. Whatever. So anyways, let me go ahead and get to the review of The Little Mermaid. Man, my voice, my throat. Drinking this Unda juice. I said Unda juice. I'm drinking this orange juice, Unda da Sea. Okay, let me stay focused. So here's my review. So here it is. Overall review of the movie. Halle Bailey killed it. She was the perfect person to play that role. Like that was her voice when she showed up at from what I hear, when she showed up at the audition and she sang, she was like, nah, she Ariel, So from a singing perspective, a musical perspective, from an acting perspective, Halle Bailey represented, shout out to that sister. Yeah, I liked her in that role. I think, like I said before, I think it was better than the original, which is the cartoon. And the main reason why I think it's better than the original is because, to be honest, I didn't even remember a lot of parts of Little Mermaid. Like I didn't remember like the only parts I remember of Little Mermaid is her on the rock doing this shit, you know, in the water, you know. And I remember the shark chase in the cartoon, but other than that, like I didn't remember anything, you know. So to me, anytime a anytime a remake of a movie has an impact on you and you don't remember the original while you were around to see it, it's safe to say that the remake is better, right? So to me, the remake was better. What else? So something that I kind of picked up on a little bit is I feel like they over interracialized the movie. That to me was kind of a distraction, you know. Like, yeah, we know Ariel's black, you know. That was cool. But like the queen, like that's the thing that kind of threw me off, was the queen. So I went back and I watched The Little Mermaid last night. I watched the cartoon, you know, and I was trying to see where the queen was, but I didn't see the queen, you know. So the queen, if you guys didn't see it, spoiler alert, whatever, go see it. She was black. She's a black queen, and she was the mother of Eric, who was adopted, right? So I think she's a good actress. I don't think she did anything wrong or bad. It's just I just felt like the story. I felt like they tried to crowbar a lot of extra stuff in there that didn't really need to be in there. You know, I feel like the queen didn't really like. Let me ask you this: what was the point of the queen in the movie, right? Like, what was the point of the queen? Like, I didn't see like what she added to the movie, right? Because to me it was like, you know, in the cartoon it was just to do Grimsley or whatever, right? But the queen, I guess they tried to have her in there to be kind of a barrier for him to search after Ariel, maybe. I don't know. But it just, when I saw her, I'm like, okay, the queen is black. Okay, interesting. And Eric is the prince. Okay, how did this happen? And now I'm more focused on how Eric became the prince and how the queen is like black. Like I was trying to figure, it took my focus off the movie, right? So to me, that was more of a distraction. It wasn't bad, it wasn't terrible, but it was just a little bit extra. Like I don't think they needed to do all that, in my opinion. And you guys know me. I always, anytime I watch a movie, you know, I'm always looking to see how I am represented. That's just what I do. I've been doing that ever since I was young. Like, how do I fit in, you know? And I feel like, a lot of like, in general, like a lot of black males in movies, I feel like the way they're represented in a lot of movies it's interesting, you know, like they're represented in a way where either their background, when I say black people, I mean specifically black males, right? Let me make sure I clarify that. But I make sure I pay attention to how black males are represented in movies. And I pay attention. So for the most part, either we're in the background or we're the villain, we're evil, or we can't help ourselves, right? In this case, we were more in the background, which is okay, that's fine. But I can't help but think, man, this is where my mind goes, man. I'm not a conspiracy theorist, but I just think different, right? Hence the name Trippin with Theobold, because we be on the show tripping, right? But like the way, here it is, right? I feel like a lot of movies, a lot of fantasy movies, I'm not saying this is the justification of it. Let me just get to the point. Stop bullshitting. But to me, it's funny how, you know, professional athletes and rappers, or black professional athletes and rappers, how, you know, they gravitate towards, you know, non-black women, right? Non-black wives, right? And to me, it's funny how when you look at movies and cartoons and like love stories, it's like, you know, they cater more towards like black women, you know. It's kind of like the revenge of, or the restitution for black athletes and black rappers dating non-black women, you know, or marrying non-black women, right? It's kind of like the antithesis, right? So that's kind of where my mind goes, right? That's just, I don't know if that's done on purpose or not. That's just how I'm thinking about it. You know what I'm saying? And you know, when you watch The Little Mermaid, it's kind of like, okay, it's a love story, it's cool, has the racial aspect to it, okay, cool. Yeah. So I don't know if I made any sense there. Did I make sense? I'm trying to think. Did I say what I really wanted to say? I don't know. I feel like whenever I watch movies where where it's an interracial relationship or couple, and it's a black female and a white male, I feel like it's payback for all of the other times that black athletes and rappers go non-black, right? That's what I kind of feel like, but that's just me, right? But like I said, overall, I enjoyed the movie. Like I said, Halle Bailey like was the best person to play that role, and I think Disney got that part right. You know, I liked how they based it off of her talent. You know, like, you know, Halle Bailey's talented, and because so many times in Hollywood you see people, or you see situations where people have a talented voice and then they want to make somebody else look different, right? Or they want to basically change the image of the person, right? So it shows that we're trending in the right direction, meaning that we're looking at just pure talent, you know? Like if Ariel, like let's say for example, if Halle Bailey was chunky, right? If she was chunky and you know, she could sing, they should still put her up there, right? To me, it's like it should be based off of like your talent and not the image that people are trying to portray, you know? So I'm definitely happy that they seem to have looked at talent and picked based off of talent rather than propaganda. So I like that. And so like I said, I enjoyed it. But let me go back and I want to address something too, right? Like after further thought, when I was thinking about all this, the overall story, right? Not the movie and the cartoon per se, but the overall story of The Little Mermaid, if you think about it, or to me, it's kind of weak, you know? And the reason why I say the overall story is kind of weak is because like the plot is unique, the plot's different, the plot was cool, but the story, when you talk plot and story, plot is the sequence of events, like where the actual story like physically goes, and the story is the journey of the character, right? So when you look at a story of a character, you know, I tend to look at the starting image or the initial image of the character and the final image of the character. And then I look at what did they have to do, or what tragedy happened to get them to where they ended up at. So when you look at Little Mermaid, Ariel starts off happy, talented, you know, and she ends up happy, right? And then when you look at her journey to get to where she got to, now again, I'm talking about the whole story. I'm not talking about the movie. I'm talking about the overall concept story of Little Mermaid. When you look at where she started and where she ended up, it's like it wasn't that drastic of a change, you know. Let I mean, yeah, she started off as a mermaid, ended up as a human, but what did she personally have to overcome to become a human? Like what self internal conflict did she have to overcome to become human? And yeah, she had to overcome her father, or win her father over, but she didn't really change in that process, right? She just she was who she always was. Like for example, to me, a stronger story would have been if she was afraid to go to the surface because of what her father said. And then watching her overcome that fear of going to the surface, and then cut to, okay, I met Eric, we in love, let's wrap up the story, So to me, it's like if you look at King Triton, who's her father, King Triton, to me, his story is stronger than the Little Mermaids or than Ariel's, right? Because his story is he starts off overbearing, ignorant, and very, very overbearing and very ignorant of what the surface people are, very narrow-minded. He destroys Ariel's stuff, but he doesn't like physically prevent her from going to the surface, right? So, when you look at King Triton, he tried to go bail his daughter out once she made the deal with Ursula. He had to, like, once he couldn't break that deal, he had to give something up. So he had to basically give up his life. And then he gave up his life. And then, Ariel then, and here's the thing too, I'm sorry, I'm all over the place, but here's the thing. Ariel, and there's no beef with Ariel. Like I said, I don't dislike the character. I just, the story and the way it was told to me is what I have an issue with. As a whole, like not just the cartoon or the movie, but the whole story is Ariel. When you break it down, she gives away something that she took for granted, right? She gives away her talented, because she's naturally talented. She gives away her voice. She doesn't really show that she misses her voice because she's so in love with Eric. And then she doesn't fight specifically to get her voice back, right? She fights, to get Eric, but she doesn't even get her voice back, right? The bird or the pigeon, not pigeon, the stork, I don't know what kind of bird that is, but the bird is the one that actually gets the voice back, right? Because he's the one that actually breaks the necklace off of Ursula, and it breaks, and then the voice goes back into Ariel, right? So to me, it's like, what did Ariel do or how did Ariel grow into the final image of her that we see? And I feel like that is kind of weak, that's just me, right? And let's go ahead and juxtapose some of these, right? So when I thought about this, I looked at my top 5 favorite movies, right? My top 5 movies are Ghostbusters, Purple Rain, Transformers the movie, the 84 cartoon movie, Coming to America, Empire Strikes Back, right? When you look at all the characters or the main characters of all those movies, the initial image is, or the final image is drastic or more, what's the word I'm looking for? There's a greater change between the initial image and the final image of the characters, right? So for example, when you look at, let's look at Ghostbusters, right? In Ghostbusters, you have these college graduate students who don't really contribute to society, right? That's the starting image. And the final image is they're the Ghostbusters, and then they save the day, right? And then you see the journey, you see what they have to overcome to get to that, right? Which makes it a good movie, in my opinion. When you look at Purple Rain, right, you have the kid who's talented. He's a talented musician. or he's a talented musician who's the leader of a band. The band is an opening act for the time. They basically play a sound similar to the time, but the final image is of the kid playing a whole different style of music that captures the audience, right? And the journey is him like taking parts of his life and trying to relate to the audience through his music. And you see the struggle of him, you know, trying to relate to the audience. And in the end, he finally makes it happen, you know? And my nose is itching. What else? Let's look at Coming to America is interesting, right? Because to me, Coming to America is kind of like Little Mermaid, right? You look at Prince Hakeem, you know, he grows up, or he's a prince. He has everything that a prince would want. And his dad doesn't necessarily prevent him from going to the U.S. or to the United States, but you can tell that his dad is mad when King Joffrey Joffre shows up, right? That's the dad. King Joffrey Joffre shows up, and he's mad. You can tell he's not happy about being in the Americas. But the difference between Coming to America and A Little Mermaid is the struggle, right? Is Prince Hakeem sees who he likes, and he basically is ashamed of who he is, and he basically lies, and then that's when he works in the McDowell's and says he's a goat herder because he doesn't want to be married to he doesn't want a chick to like him because he's a prince. So the internal struggle was, hey, I got to overcome my fear of being a prince and being something that women are only going to gravitate to me for. And you see the struggle, and he overcomes that. So that to me is the difference between The Little Mermaid and Coming to America. And if you think about it, you know, if you have a strong story, in my opinion, if you have a strong story, no other character's story should be stronger than the main characters, right? And to me, King Triton had a stronger story because he had more of a transformation than Ariel did, right? Like I look at, when I say transformation, I don't mean physical. I mean internal, like, you know, characteristics, like internal, like struggles. That's what I mean by transformation. Like, how does a person internally transform? So, like I said, I'm not shitting on the movie. I'm not saying the movie was bad. I'm just saying overall, collectively, when you look at the cartoon and the movie, the overall story is kind of weak. But nonetheless, I enjoyed the movie. It was a nostalgic piece. I think Halle Bailey did her thing. You know, it took me back in time to when I was a kid. Yeah. That's my review. So, like I said, I don't like giving out scores or numbers because to me it's like, like I said, I liked it. You know, I thought it was dope. You know, let me go and check some of these comments out right quick, see what people are saying. Oh, here we go. They say it wasn't good. I got to check it out. Yeah, go check it out, Vincent. Go check it out, man. It's definitely dope, man. I'm glad I checked it out. You know, I'm glad me and my old lady went. You know, yeah, I'm glad I saw it. You know, I think I probably ruined the movie. I think I ruined the movie for you, but sorry. You know, I should have probably put up a spoiler alert, but there's no new spoiler. It's like the same. It's just the one thing I liked about the movie is when I went back and watched the cartoon is they have certain hook points, right? There's certain things that they stay true to, like, you know, the fork or the thing that they used to comb the hair, or that she used to comb her hair. The shark chase was like pretty like spot on. The difference is though is that they changed up who killed Ursula, right? Like in the cartoon, Eric kills Ursula, and in the movie, Ariel kills Ursula, right? So maybe that was their way of saying, hey, this is her fighting for love, or maybe that's what she had to overcome, right? Maybe, I don't know. But yeah, overall, go check it out. It's a good movie. I think it's dope. I always like when they do remakes of Disney movies because I don't know, I grew up, even though I had my gripes with Disney, like some of the stories are dope. Like Beauty and the Beast is dope, Mulan is dope, you know. So yeah, I liked it. I enjoyed it. So what else we got going on here, man? Yeah, before I go any further, make sure you guys hit that like button, hit that subscribe button, tell a friend to tell a friend, do all that fun internet stuff like the old people say. So here we go. What else, man? DraftKings, man. I thought I figured it out. I thought I figured it out, man, but I ain't figured shit out. My method that was having them, so the method I was using for the past couple weeks that got me to place in sixth place, and like I was placing in the upper teens. I think a few times I placed like 7th and 6th overall. Won like $20, $40 here, $25 there. That method cooled off, man. I don't know, but I'm gonna try it again. I'm gonna try that same method again for today. All right, I'm gonna try that same method again, and then I got to think of something else. Now, for the Captain Showdown mode for NBA or for the NBA Finals, man, I got slaughtered. I came like in damn near last place. In order for you to win a sizable change of the pot, you had to you got to make ballsy moves, right? You have to do ballsy things to win money, right? Like you can't just pick safe play. If you pick it too safe, then all you're gonna do is get back what you put up, or maybe $5 more than what you put up, right? But I don't know. Yeah. So in this past week, you had to put Highsmith as your captain. And I couldn't even put this dude in my lineup, man, because I know he had that one good game, but I'm like, with the last game he played, he put up, I think, 2 points. It's like you got to make those kind of calls, man. And you have to know to leave out Jimmy Butler. Because look, my whole thought process was, I looked at who made the perfect list for the Captain Showdown modes for all of the game ones of the playoffs. And I noticed that Joker didn't make it for one of them. So I'm like, I'm only going to pick the players that make it for all. So Jamal Murray and Jimmy Butler both made every perfect lineup for every game one of this year's playoffs. So I said, you know what? Jimmy Butler and Jamal Murray, they're going to be in my lineup some kind of way. Not sure who's going to be captain, but they're both going to be in my lineup. And I stayed away from Joker because Joker didn't make it. Like, I didn't say I wasn't saying I was going to stay away from Joker, but I was going to pick him last if I had the cash left over. But, you know, Joker's the most expensive player in DraftKings. So I was like, yeah, nah, I'm not going to pick Joker. So I stayed away from Joker. And Joker had a triple double. And Jimmy Butler didn't make the perfect lineup. So that's DraftKings for you, you know? So let me go ahead and show you what I'm going to do next week, right? Because that's what we do. We learn from our mistakes, right? We learn from we learn from mistakes, right? If you're not learning from your past mistakes, then what the hell are you doing? Right? So here we go. So and then Bam at a bot. It was real weird, man. Like you had to. So yeah, I'm not looking at that. The one thing, so I'm gonna go back and I'm making this rule only and only for basketball, or anytime you do a lineup with where you have to actually consider salary, right? When they give you a fake salary, that's when I think you have to kind of look at points. But when you do tiers, I just pay attention to who's winning each category, or what combination of categories are people winning typically. But anyways, let me go and pull this up so you guys can see what I'm talking about, what I'm going to do next week, or not next week, but this Sunday coming up. Let me go ahead and put my iPhone up in there. Here we go. Make this a little bigger so you guys can see it. You can see what I'm talking about. There we go. All right, there we go. So boom, here's what I'm gonna do, right? So I'm gonna probably keep track of all the perfect lineups, because you want to know like what combination of people to pick, you know, and like I like to study all the combinations of who's making what, you know. Like for example, if you got Jimmy Butler and Bam, the question is, does Jimmy Butler and Bam, is there a situation where Jimmy Butler, Bam, and Caleb Martin will all make the perfect lineup? And you'll see that things happen in groups or in clusters, you know, where each main player like Jimmy Butler or Jamal Murray, they have like people that are their support cast or whatever, you know? So what I'm going to do is first, like I'm going back to my old method with this, and I'm just going to look at the predictions versus the actual scores, right? So for example, on June 1st, which was yesterday, Jamal Murray was projected to score 48 points, but he put up 51. So I'm looking for a situation where the blue dot is almost touching the green dot, right? And I want to see kind of, you know, what happens next. So for example, that looks kind of like, to me, that looks kind of like May 7th at Phoenix, right? 47 when he was projected to put up 44. So the next game, I'm going to go on a limb and I'm going to say, you know what? Jamal Murray is going to only score 39 fantasy points next week. So probably going to stay away from Jamal Murray next game. But when you look at Jokic, aka Joker, he was projected to score 62 fantasy points on June 1st. He put up 68. That kind of looks like May 9th when he was projected to score 66 and put up 72 fantasy points. So I'll take 71 fantasy points from Joker. I'll take that. And then Jimmy Butler. Yesterday he was projected to score 47 fantasy points. He put up 36. That kind of looks like May 6th when he was projected to put up 50 and put up 40. So I'll give him a 5-point bump and say 50. So he's going to be in the 50s. So I'll probably end up picking Joker and Jimmy next game. One thing I've noticed too is when you look at the when you sort based on salary, the players in the perfect lineups never. One thing I've noticed is very rarely, I would say like 1% of the time, will the first three players ever get picked. Like you got to either pick one or a combination of two of the three, but you can't pick all three. Because if you pick all three, even if you pick all three and don't make him your captain, you're not gonna have anyone else to really like, you got to start reaching for like bums at the bottom. You're gonna start having to reach for like Kevin Love and that, or like Cody Zeller, you know. And I don't think you really want to fool with that. I mean, that's a high risk, but it is what it is, you know. So that's what I'm gonna do. Is I'm gonna go back to that method, and then what I'll do is when I build my lineup, I'll compare my lineups to other lineups to see the combination of players, to see the pattern of the combination of players that make the perfect lineup list, right? Like, for example, if every combination of Heat players are different each game, meaning that they're all unique, and if my lineup has a matching set, I'm going to redo my lineup. And same for the Nuggets, right? Like, if I see that every playoff matchup has a different combination of, you know, players for a given team, I'm going to say, you know what? Chances are this isn't going to repeat. Let me go ahead and redo my lineup, right? I'm looking for, like, you want to look for a variance when you're building a lineup, right? So that's what I'm going to do, right? Between now and Sunday, that's what I'm going to do. And hopefully next episode, I'll be cheesing and smiling like, hey, man, everything worked out. What else we got going on, man? But now this finals is boring, man. Like, yo, this, when I saw it, man, I was like dozing off in between. I just couldn't keep up. I mean, I did, but it was like kind of boring to watch. Now the end got kind of interesting because the Heat don't quit, but they couldn't really close the gap beyond 10. So it'll be interesting to see what adjustments they make and how they, you know, maneuver this series. But I said Heat are going to get swept. Like I said, no, I said that from the beginning. I said Denver's going to sweep. I said Denver in 4 if it's Denver and Miami. So anywho, what else we got going on? Shows coming up. Next week I have actually shoot this Saturday. I just looked at my calendar, or I just got an email. This Saturday I'll be at the Amazing Comedy Theater in Huntington Beach, Saturday night, late night. Got a workout spot there. I typically get anywhere from like 10 to 15 minutes. And I'm working out this Buffalo Bills material, and it's not, yeah, but I'm gonna get there. I'm gonna figure it out. And then next Thursday, I just remembered I gotta actually follow up, but I have I'm doing a spot next Thursday at Nightcap, so that's a big deal. My man Kazim, man, shout out to my man Kazim for putting me on. So that should be a fun show. But yeah, in conclusion, go see Little Mermaid, man. You'll enjoy it. The kids will love it. I think that's all I got to say. That's all I got to say, you know? Yeah, I'm about to run down to the dentist. I got to get my teeth cleaned. So that's why this episode is probably a little shorter than normal, but you know, it is what it is. I try to give you this content, you know, free of charge. It's called community service. But anyways, yeah, without further ado, AT is where it's at on most forms of social media. Make sure y'all follow me. And that's all, folks. I'm out of here. Peace. Yep. Trippin' with Theobold.
Let's go.
Caliente.
Trippin'. Yep. Trippin'. Trippin with Theobold.
Trippin with Theobold.